Welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be showing you guys how to cut a boat neck flay dress. I'm yet to decide what I'll use for the bottom of the dress. I might be using circle with pleats, or I might be using box plate itself, but it depends on how much fabric I have after cutting the top part of the dress. So first I'm going to open up the fabric. I have 5 yards of fabric here. So first I folded the fabric into two this way, and I'm going to check what the shoulder to waist I'm working with to be. So mine is 18, so I'm going to add extra 1 inch, half inch for the top, half inch for the bottom, so leaving me with 19 inches here. So I'm going to mark 19 inches here. As you can see, I'm skipping this white part because I'm going to cut it out. So my 19 stops before this white line here. So after that, you check what your shoulder measurement is. The shoulder I'm going to be working with today is going to be 17 divided by 2, so that will give me 8.5, right? And this top I'm working with is going to have a boat neck. So I'm going to mark 8.5 here. That's 17 divided by 2. And meanwhile, after folding the fabric, one thing you're supposed to check is your bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1. Will it fit into the width of the fabric you folded? So my bust measurement is 43 divided by 4. That's 10.95 plus 1 inch. So that's giving, I just made it, I approximated it to just 11 plus 1, that's 12. So 12 fits into this weight. And after that, the next thing I'm going to do is the armhole divided by 2. So the armhole I'm working with is 20 divided by 2. That will leave me with 10. So I'm going to mark 10 here. This is just the basic bodice, right? And then come out this way, and then mark like for the armhole. Give it this mark here. And then after that, one thing else is to come down 1 inch from the shoulder, because you know your shoulder has this slant to it. So you come down by one inch here, and then you check the neckline you're going to be working with, which is, let's make it 3, right? So after that, to get the boat neck, or let's make it 3 is okay. So after marking your neckline 3 by 3, the next thing you're supposed to do is whatever you have left on this side of the shoulder, right? This is the shoulder slant. You connect this 1 inch to this point of 3 here, right? You connect this this mark here to this point that you marked the 3 inches. Anytime you're making the boat neck, for me, how I normally do mine is whatever I have left on this, from this point to this point, I find the center. So I have 5.5 here. So the middle is going to be around 2.75. So I'm going to mark it here. I'm going to mark it here, 2.75. So fine, if you have like 5 inches on the dot here, so it's going to be 2.5, right? So you mark at 2.5 here. That's the center. And then this part here is now going to join the shoulder, right? You're going to connect this part to the shoulder. So that's basically your boat neck here. You see? So this is your new neckline. Boat neck is just how I do mine, right? Divide whatever you have left that is supposed to be the normal shoulder, right? Like after you've marked your neckline and stopped at 3, right? My shoulder here is 17 divided by 2. I have 8.5, right? So I marked the 8.5, marked 3 inches for the neckline, normal neckline, like normal bodies. And then I now put my tape back again to this point here and checked what I have from these 3 inches to this end here. Whatever I have, I split it into 2 and then mark. Then this is now the new beginning of my neckline. So this part here is now going to be my neckline here. Some people still even make their boat neck even further out, but it depends on you. But this is perfect for me for the neckline. So I'm going to mark this here, mark out this here. So go back down to my waistline. So the waist I'm working with is supposed to be 36.5. 36.5 divided by 4, that will give me around 9.12, but I approximated it to 9.2. So 9.2 plus extra 1 is 10.2 plus extra 1, that's going to be 11.2. So at the waist, normally, remember when you're making the bodice, the waist will be +2, the bust will be +1, right? If there's a hip will be +1, but waist is always +2 because you're going to leave 1 inch for your darting and then extra 1 inch for the side. The bust is 1 inch because you add 1 inch at the bust because of 1 inch for your, let's say this is 1 inch for the seam allowance here, right? This is where your bust measurement will stop. Like for me, mine is 11, so extra 1 inch is 12, so this is where my bust will stop here. And then remember, this is the 1 inch from the seam allowance also here, and then the other one is here for the darting. So 2 inches for the waist. So that's basically it. I'm going to cut mine out here. So I'm going to start from this point here. I'm going to connect this back down here. So I'm going to start from this point here and cut out. And remember, for this part of the sleeve in front, what you would normally do is find the midway from this end here. So mine is 9 because remember I removed 1 inch from the shoulder slant, so I have 4.5 to be the midway, and then from this midway you come in by 0.5, which is half an inch, come in this way, right? And then you connect that line to this point here, in, and then you go out to meet this point here, because your in front is supposed to be in, but at the back you just leave it with the normal line here. So I'm not going to cut this out because I'm going to use this bodice for my back. So after cutting the back neckline, then I'll just cut this piece out. I already have a video on the normal bodice. I'm just running through it because I'm cutting because I'm still using the same pattern for this dress. So for the back, I've cut the same thing again, right? I've folded the same the fabric, but this time around I'm going to have 1 inch at the center back. So this 1 inch at the center back, this is with my center back here. So from here I'm going to trace out this same pattern here. The only difference will be at the back I'll have this fabric here. So guys, I've gone ahead and cut out my back panel. So I extended my front top neckline to come down by 4 inches, right? But you can still leave yours at 3. And then my back neckline is just 1 inch higher than the front neckline. So this is 4 and this is 3 inches. It stopped at 3 inches for the back. So but at the end it starts at the same point here for the shoulder. So now what I'm going to trace out this piece here for the front, since I've already cut the back, and then I'm going to cut the sleeve. So to cut my sleeve, I folded my fabric into 4. So I folded it 1, and then this way I folded it again, and then after folding it this way, the next thing I'm going to do is to check the length of the sleeve. So this is a 3/4 sleeve, so the length is 12 inches. So I'm going to add, I want to fold this end by 1.5 and then fold this, leave half an inch for this top part. So I'm going to use 14, that's extra 2 inches. So I'm going to mark here, and then after that I'm going to come down by 4 inches here. 4 inches is what I normally use for my sleeve cap. I've already made a video on how you can cut normal sleeve. So my armhole is 20 divided by 20 divided by 2, so I have 10. I'm going to mark 10 here, and then from this point here I'm just going to mark like an inverted S, this all the way up. So mark like this down here, and then you come down here, check what your sleeve width would be. So my sleeve at the cuff, my sleeve is around 13, so 13 by 2, that will give me 6.5. so plus extra 1 inch, I'm going to make it 7.5. so I'm going to mark 7.5 here, and from this point I'm going to connect the line. So this is what my sleeve would look like. So I'm going to cut it out. So now this is my sleeve here. This is the sleeve I'm working with. So the next thing is to cut the body of the dress, the bottom of the dress. So guys, now I'm going to cut the bottom of the dress, and to cut the bottom of the dress, I'm going to first of all, you're going to subtract your shoulder to waist, like the top part of the dress from the dress. So my shoulder to waist is 18 and the full length is 48. So if I subtract it, I have 30. So and for the bottom of the dress, I want to use a circle, and I've already made a video on how to cut a circle bottom. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it as a semicircle, not a full circle. And to cut it as a semicircle, you're just going to for the half circle, what you're going to do is to fold the fabric into two and divide by 3.14. If you're going to fold the fabric into 4, then you're going to divide by 6.28. So 6.28 for a full circle, and you fold the fabric into 4. And then 3.14 for half a circle, and you fold the fabric into 2. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. I've already folded my fabric into 2, right? And I folded the fabric into 2. If you look closely, you will see I folded it into 2 this way, and this is the edge of the fabric here. So when the 3.14 is to divide the waist, right? And I decided to, instead of making this a plain circle, I'm going to make it a circle with a box split. So I'm going to make the circle bigger than the waist of the person, and then I'm going to pleat the circle a little bit. So for that, normally you would just add 2 inches to the waist and divide it by 3.14 for half the circle. But since I'm going to be doing it with a pleat, I added extra 10 inches, and then plus the 2 inches I'm going to be using for the seam allowance. So that's extra 12 inches that I added to the bottom of the dress. That's the waist, and my waist already is 36.5. So plus the extra 12, that's giving me 48.5. So what I have as the total waist is now what I will divide by 3.14, which is a constant for half a circle. That's half a circle, meaning when you fold the fabric into 2. So after dividing mine, what I got is 16 for the waistline, and then the 16 I added the 30, which is the full length of the bottom, and I added that, and then I also added 1.5 to it. 1.5 is 1 inch for folding the end, the rough end, and then half an inch for attaching the top part of the dress. So I'm going to start cutting mine. Total inch that I need for this fabric is 47.5. So now that I've folded my fabric into 2, I have a video where I just explained everything about circle, but here I just ran through the whole explanation. So I've already checked mine, and the total length here is 48, right? I need 47.5. So what I'm going to do now, this is the end where I folded the fabric. This is where I have the rough end. So because this is too wide to fit into this table, what I'm going to do is just fold it again this way. Like take this end here, hold this end, and then you just move it over to this end, like you're making a triangle out of it. So that's how you're going to be able to cut it, and it won't be so wide apart from you, and like it won't be more stressful. Just fold it this way and straighten it out, and then spread it. So with the fabric folded this way, what you're going to do now is, so the first part I'm cutting is just basically your waist measurement plus 2 divided by the 3.14. So what I have is 16. So I'm just going to mark 16 all over. I'm going to just put the tape here and make sure to mark it at 16, and just keep moving it. So this is the first part of it, the 16 inches. So now I'm going to mark the 47.5, which is what I got as the half of the dress, like the 30 plus the 1.5. That's what will be your flay. So I'm going to mark 47.5, and as you can see, this fabric is cut differently. I can't get the 47.5 in, but I'm still going to go back and attach a fabric here. So I'm going to still make a video on how to fit in the fabric. If the fabric is cut by 45, how to make a long circle bottom from it. So basically I'm just going to go with whatever I have here until I get to the point where I can fit in 47.5, which is at this point here. So I'm going to just mark 47.5 here. So guys, as you can see, the bottom here I have the 47.5, but the top part here, it doesn't fit in because it's not long enough. So what I'm going to do is to go back, attach a piece of cloth here, and then trim it to meet up this length here. So I'm going to cut off at where this one could reach, but it couldn't reach on the other part of the fabric. It doesn't matter, just when you're done, or you can even do it once you fold the fabric and see that it can't reach, just get a piece of cloth, fold it, and then attach it this way, just to help you lengthen it. You might attach it all the way to this here, and then you fold your fabric and start cutting. I've already started cutting before I figured that mine would not be enough. So that's another way to extend the fabric. So guys, as you can see, I've finished cutting out the bottom of the dress, and this is half a circle. As you can see, the other half of the circle is not here. This is half circle bottom. So I'm going to attach all my everything and then show you guys the outcome. So guys, this is what I was saying about the other half of the circle not reaching to this end. See, this is longer, but this one here stops this way because the fabric doesn't go wider. So what you're going to do, I'm using the top part of this, just another piece of fabric. I'm going to just put it in such a way that I'm just going to mark my seam allowance. So this end to this end is going to be the inch I need to attach this fabric to this fabric, right? So after that, I'm just going to mark this point here. Just mark this point, mark the full length I need, right? I'm just going to mark it now, and then I'm going to cut it out. So now the two ends are equal. As you can see, the two ends will now be equal. So all I have to do is to put this in. When I go to sew, I'm going to attach this at the end here so that the length of these two will be equal. So guys, this is what the dress looks like. I'm done attaching the sides, and this is the neckline up close. And this is the body here. It's like circle, but it has some pleats. If you look closely on the waist, you'll see I pleated it a little bit. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. See what the bottom looks like. So it's a circle with some pleats. Yeah, so guys, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. Bye.